Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm here. Today I'm going to continue with Steve Reeves' series of articles which first appeared in Your Physique. Today's theme is developing the chest. Now this series is a continuation, as I mentioned, after Steve Reeves won the Mr. America in 1947, seen here in a photo holding his trophy next to Alan Stephen. The source, of course, is, as I mentioned, Your Physique, in this case, issue of May 1948, How I Developed My Chest by Mr. America, Steve Reeves. Now, most of the article actually centers around Steve's recommendations and doesn't explicitly list a program. I love his tips either way, and I think they're worth sharing. Now, the first is a saying, which is a very famous saying: Rome was not built in a day. And Steve, I guess what he's trying to say here is that through patience, diligence, and devotion, progress will follow. Nothing comes easy, and it does take hard work. And with determination and sincere effort, Steve, and I'm sure you, could also develop a very strong looking chest. Further to that, the reason why Steve believes that the rib box deserves much attention is that it makes you look like a Superman, as shown here. It's a great photo. I haven't done this photo. Somebody has obviously used Photoshop, and Steve does look pretty awesome as Superman, except his cape is kind of missing. Or maybe his lats are just too big. But the reason why Steve really does believe in developing not just the chest muscles but the rib box itself is that it represents good health. And it makes sense, because with a larger rib cage, your heart and your lungs would have much greater space to move. And because these are vital organs, they do affect the whole body and the health of the whole body. And as I mentioned before, just look at Steve there. If he really was to play Superman, I'm pretty sure nobody would complain, because he looks friggin' awesome. Further, Steve actually really admired the high pectoral development of Clarence Ross and Ed Yarrick, who both exclusively used the incline press, as shown here. Clarence has fantastic upper pectoral development, as shown in this photo. Steve is actually, in this article, he's saying that Ed Yarrick was actually the first man to develop and discover the incline press and use it for the development of the upper pectoral, and since then Steve used it himself. Steve's ideal pectoral development would center around having equal upper pec and lower pec development. Now, for the incline press, Steve Reeves recommends an angle of 45 to 50 degrees being the best angles to perform the exercise in, and using a narrow bench, as you can see the one he's using, which is made of wood, is very narrow, 8 to 9 inches wide. He also believes in using both dumbbells and barbells for all-round development of the upper chest, and he would actually switch between the two every 3 months. He believes that the lower pecs are much easier to develop and can be easily developed with wide grip barbell and dumbbell bench pressing, again alternating. And the reason why he believes one should use a wide grip is because on using a wide grip, 2/3 of the strain, according to Steve, is placed on the chest, and only 1/3 remains in the triceps. However, this is why when doing the tricep bench press, as in the close grip bench press, it is done close grip, because most of the strain is there taken off the chest and instead is placed on the triceps. Now for shape and definition, Steve recommends the use of dumbbell flies. This is very well known. However, he talks about rib box development, and he mentions that for rib box development, that is rib box expansion, breathing squats should be performed. Breathing squats, breathing squats, breathing squats. Whether you like it or not, squats need to be performed. And I'm in great agreement of this. I believe that squats are the best exercise, full stop, for overall development. It is the very heavy breathing, the act of struggling and having to breathe super heavy during super heavy squat sessions that actually causes the expansion of the rib box, or your rib cage, if this is what you want to call it. How should they be performed? You should use a weight that is heavy enough to do 10 reps normally, but then you take it to the extreme and perform 20 reps as follows. This is Steve Reeves' recommendations too. For the first 5 reps, you should do 1 breath in between each rep. For the next 10 reps, you should be tiring and using 3 breaths in between each rep. And for the last 5 excruciating reps, you should be actually breathing 5 deep, full breaths in between each of those 5 reps, and basically, your spleen should be about to burst, your liver should be coming out, your eyes bursting out. Yeah, it should be absolutely balls to the wall. And immediately after performing those 20 excruciating breathing squats, you would do 20 rep breathing pullovers with a moderate weight, not with a weight that you would normally use for developing the lats, because it should not interfere with normal breathing. These are breathing pullovers, not pullovers for developing muscle. Those were Steve Reeves' recommendations in his article, Developing the Chest. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And thanks for watching. Leave me your comments. This is the Golden Era Bookworm. Bye for now.